Hello, everyone. My name is Ted Ellis. I'm a visual artist. I have been pictorially documenting African American history and culture for the past 30 plus years. I also serve as the director of the Civil Rights Institute at Florida State, where we focus on the civil rights movement not only in the state of Florida, but also throughout the United States, where we provide programs for academic discourse and research. At the federal level, I am chair of the 400 Years of African American History Commission under Public Law 115-102. We're responsible for creating programs to celebrate and commemorate the activities of African Americans since 1619. That's over 400 plus years of telling that story and that narrative under Public Law 115-102. So that's a big charge and a big responsibility. We're here today, and I want to thank you for coming out and participating. Reflections and Reckoning, the 70th anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education that overturned Plessy versus Ferguson after Reconstruction. It says separate but not equal. And Thurgood Marshall persuasively argued that case in Topeka, Kansas, and a unanimous decision by the Warren Court said that this is unfair, is unjust, and under the speed of law that it needs to change. Now, from that point on, we have continued to advocate for justice in the system under the Constitution that provides a true platform for democratic values for everyone here in the United States. So I want to really thank Anderson Brickler Gallery for providing an opportunity for myself and the other distinguished artists to celebrate and commemorate the 70th anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. Now, let me give you a little bit of history about myself. I grew up in New Orleans, influenced by the artistic exuberance of the city of New Orleans. I know when I was old enough, I would ask my mom, could I take public transit down to the French Quarters and just look at the artists in Jackson Square paint. And she complied, and every so often on Saturdays, I'd take the public transit, and I was off to ask all the questions I wanted to all the artists in Jackson Square. And I was a bit of a nuisance because I was fascinated with how they were able to engage audiences from around the world. Different artists, different approaches, different styles, different mediums. But some kind of way it spoke and it worked and it intrigued me. And so I'd spend, several hours. Once I would leave, I'd go over to the public library on Loyola Avenue, get inside of the World Book Encyclopedia Britannica, any book I could find on art. I remember reading about the Renaissance artists, the Harlem Renaissance. Just loved information, loved to learn. Wanted to do something very important, was very passionate early about art. And so I made a pact with myself that I was going to be a famous artist, and I was going to figure it out some kind of way, form, fashion, in that space, and being a creative. And so now, as a creative historian, as a director of a Civil Rights Institute, going back to school after 20 years, getting my master's in museum studies, being the inaugural director for Southern University at New Orleans Museum, building comprehensive, important programming to engage communities, and doing it at a federal level, and now here at Florida State, in the presence, in the midst of all this historical contributions that those in this space and throughout the state of Florida have contributed. I'm part of that right now. So the journey continues. I'm on my magic carpet and finding a way to impact through art. My artist friends, art matters. The passion, the purpose in your art definitely piques people's curiosity. It makes them want to engage. It makes them want to learn. And so we are definitely a creative force that speaks politically, speaks historically, speaks socially, speaks economically, all at the same time. It is a universal language. Art says nothing, but it says everything. And when I think about my first engagement in the social space aspect of wanting to make change, It's around 1993 when I created Justice, an African American who was in the courtroom, who was poised, who was articulate, was confident, and was persuasively, intentionally arguing for the rights of those who have been marginalized or disadvantaged. And he was amongst his peers and his colleagues. Well, that resonated with almost every attorney in America, particularly African American attorneys. I remember one time in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Peabody, for one of the National Bar Conventions, I decided to bring the justice piece out, and in my booth, we had Willie Gary and several other prominent African Americans in that space. And I got that piece in office. And we took photos together and everything else. At that point in time, I was a wonderful little celebrity. And I realized that it was necessary that we have images that speak about our identity, our culture, our ideology, and way of lifestyle. And so I just anchored down and made that contribution and dedication just the way my predecessors, Jacob Lawrence and Romare Beard, Elizabeth Catlett, Lois Ballou Jones, and others have done in that space. And so years later, 1999, Walt Disney came calling. I was the artist chosen to do the inaugural poster that represented the contributions of Black history in celebrating and commemorating the importance around Black history. Carter G. Woodson was the father and founder of Negro Week, which became Negro Month, which became Black History Month. How about that? And let's go a little bit further, pushing forward. This past February in Washington, D.C., on February 5th, I presented a piece to the White House, a portraiture of Carter G. Woodson that now hangs permanently in the White House. So when I say that, art impacts, passion with purpose, can really do what's necessary to show the contributions of who we are as African Americans in this space, wanting to having the same access to democratic values that's embedded inside the Constitution for equal rights and equal liberties and equal participation. So, art and activism, art and advocacy is a critical resource in having that conversation to push forward for justice and equality here in America. And so that is the charge, that is the responsibility with this exhibition. Several pieces in here just fits the theme of the commemoration of the 70th anniversary. Multiple pieces that I have of African Americans in the courtroom. My trilogy, One Man, One Vote, Equal Justice for All, I Am a Man, is a summation of the civil rights here in America. Then we have the educational pieces of Equal Justice and Keep the Dream Alive. Speaks volumes to our journey, our pathway to justice, perseverance, resiliency, and triumph, and a steadfastness that we have to continue to be the consciousness for what is right in America. So we need to continue to have civil discourse. We need to have conversation to push forward what is right for everybody and to be that example for this great country, which is America. We are all part of the tapestry of American history. And so I'm happy. I want to thank Anderson Brickler Gallery for providing this opportunity for me to showcase my artwork with other distinguished artists within this community and outside. They have been doing the good work in cultural advocacy, artistic activism with this gallery and inside of this community in partnership with FAMU and FSU, with the students, with community engagement. It's unfortunate that I can't be here to engage and meet you guys personally, but I thought it was appropriate that we have some kind of conversation, and this provides a platform for that. So, in this space, I will continue to advocate and be that creative historian that paints, that programs, that leads the Civil Rights Institute to be a best practice for other institutes and centers throughout the country. The Civil Rights Institute is the first inaugural Civil Rights Institute in the state of Florida under the public system in the 10 university system of the state educational system. Excuse me there. So um, we are going to be doing wonderful work in partnership with the community, the Grove, the Riley House, the different churches, the different organizations, the state institutions in this space. We've already arranged a program with the National Park Service, the African American Civil Rights Trail, which we will be working with a comprehensive program on creating and expanding and tying together the Florida Civil Rights Trail in the state of Florida. So I'm excited about that. At the federal level, we're heading to Anchorage, Alaska to celebrate Juneteenth in that space. And imagine that having presence in Anchorage, Alaska. How about that? Our footprint runs through the cord of this great country and showing our strength, our contributions, and level of resiliency through all the myriad of challenges in this space and fighting for justice and equality. So, with that said, I want to continue to make the kind of imprint and build a legacy of service to community. I think that's probably the greatest sacrifice and impact is what can we do for others outside of self in our passion lane and being purposed in that. And so I I'm happy. I'm also deliberate in trying to find a pathway that we could all coexist in this space that that contributes in a way that's constructive, that we build for the next generation, and we do that through trust and care. Trust and care is vital. And with that, we evolve in the right direction. Um, we look at the system of capitalism, the good side of capitalism, and we share in those endeavors. We build platforms that will improve our livelihood and human capital. So, with that said, we will continue to be a creative force. We ask that you guys share in that with providing space and program for the creative element to thrive and flourish to impact our lives in a constructive manner. I want to thank the artists for participating in reflections and reckoning. I also want to thank the staff and those at Anderson Brickler Gallery for giving us this opportunity to showcase something historically important. And I want to thank the members of the community for coming out and seeing the value and know that our future is vital. That's the next generation that we hear and that we care and that we're providing a service to improve your livelihood. So this is Ted Ellis, creative historian, artist, museologist, director of the Civil Rights Institute, and chair of the Federal 400 Years of African American History and Culture. Enjoy the closing of the exhibition, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace.